bum, 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 bum.
It's the shade of it all.
Well, you know what we need to do? We need to just go and like sing an intro track and just play around and make one, and I think it'll be fire.
No, we
I
do
think
need to
it'll
do
actually
that.
be.
That would
We'll
be
add it to the
amazing.
list. We'll add it to the list of
Add it to
things
the
to
list
do.
for the executive meeting. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the shade of it all. I'm Brandon.
I'm Magdala. Welcome back.
Welcome back. What if there was an episode where
Welcome
we just
back.
sang? Yes.
It's like when those TV shows like turn an episode into a musical and everyone's singing and dancing.
Yes, like Grey's
We would
Anatomy.
lose followers. We
All of
would
these
lose.
lines cross my face. Did you ever watch Grey's?
Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. You would
I've seen clips, but I don't
you'd
know. I
get
don't like doctor
invested.
shows.
You'd
I
get
don't like
invested.
blood, even though I know it's fake. I could barely watch House. House was intense.
Oh no, that show always freaked me out.
I've noticed I learned a lot about Brandon this week. My friend does not like scary stuff. He doesn't like dark stuff,
I
twisted
liked
stuff. Like,
scary.
okay, he doesn't like things where that mentally just makes you like think about the darkness and the dark parts of life. We
Maggie
talk about
wants me to watch this show where this guy's locked in a room and doesn't know he's being recorded. And I'm like,
it's
this is
so
weird.
good. Oh my gosh. Everybody, hold on, hold on. Now I have to get the name. I'm trying to watch Modern Family on my lunch break, and Hulu is like recommending something to me, which is weird because I've never seen this happen before. Like it was a preview at the top of my, like, I'm in my phone on Hulu. I was like, this
hmm
is different. And I just see this naked man, and I'm like, what's this? And so I watched the trailer. So essentially, I think it was in the 90s, a man was put on this reality show where he had to do these like mail-in competitions, sweepstakes. So every day they gave him a stack of cards and he had to write them. And but his house, they put him in a house that was empty, no appliances, nothing, just a table and a pillow. And he had to live in that room, and the only thing he could live off of was the things that he earned from these sweepstakes, until he earned a certain amount of money, right? They tell him that he's not that he knows he's being recorded, but they tell him that we're not going to show anyone this. People aren't watching you. Meanwhile, millions of people are watching him, and he's naked. They don't give him any clothes. He's just naked in this room, and it's just like kind of taking you through like the phenomenon. The show was a hit. He wrote diaries. He felt like he was going crazy. He couldn't go outside, and it ended, and they're like, now go do it in Korea. Like he was literally trapped for like over a year of his life. It was just insane. And so I just wanted to watch it. And so it's not long. It's like an hour and a half on Hulu. It's just like it's kind of like a movie, I guess. And they just kind of go through and explain from the producer's standpoint and from his standpoint, his experience, and then they go into his life after. So I was just like, this is kind of wild. It was in
Look,
Japan. Did I say Korea? It was in Japan.
I
They
think you
sent him
did
to
say
Korea after,
they sent yeah,
but
you said they sent him after.
it was a Japanese show. So I
Um,
wanted Brandon to watch it, and Brandon was like, "I'll pass."
I was well, we watched the trailer and I was like, I don't like this.
I mean, yeah, you kind of just saw this guy go crazy a little bit. I get it. I get it.
It's all good. We all have our different tastes. I like my reality TV and
What
like
else
that's
do you
really
watch?
I used to watch a lot more like sitcoms and like dramas, but now it's
Hmm.
just been mostly reality TV.
It
I do want
it's
to start
funny.
Bridgerton at some point.
You've never watched any?
No,
Oh yeah, Bridgerton is good.
is it?
I liked the second. Well, I liked both seasons. Yeah, it was good.
Emily
The
in
next season is
Paris.
coming up.
I watched Emily in Paris.
I don't know who that is.
It's a Netflix show.
What's it about?
It's like this girl, Emily, it's Lily Collins. She gets sent to Paris to work for a company. And like it's just this American girl. Um
Hmm. Sounds riveting.
it's so stupid, but it's like good.
Have you watched The Good Place?
No, but I've thought about it. I do like
I've
Kristen Bell.
She's literally amazing. And
I've been
I've
trying to get you to watch Veronica Mars, but you said no.
oh yeah, I did say no. Maybe I'll try it. Isn't she a detective or something?
She's a teenage
Uh,
private
uh,
investigator.
Are people are people dying? I love how Kristen Bell can play a teenager. Moving on. That was like 5 years ago, but still. I
No, it
remember
was
when it
like
came out 10.
2003.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
old.
it come I saw it streaming like
They
not
brought
that
it
long
back
ago.
for a
That's what I'm
random
talking about.
season on Hulu that
That's
was
what I'm talking about.
terrible, and they didn't need to do it.
That's my reference point. That's what I see. I told you I saw it and I was like, I don't want to watch this.
No, you
Her
can't.
hair
No,
was like, okay,
you
okay,
can't.
that's what I
You
thought
can't
Veronica
do the
Mars
new
was.
one. You have to watch the first three. That was four. You can't watch four. Four
Okay.
ruined everything. I pretend four didn't happen. There was a
Uh,
movie that was actually good before
I don't
four.
think I heard of that.
I don't think a lot of people did, but it was good. But there it is a murder. The first season is a murder mystery because her best friend ends up dead, and her best friend's Lily Kane, and it's
What is this? Pretty Little Liars?
kind of, and it's it's Amanda Seyfried. It's
Brennan,
Lily
I don't
Kane.
know people's
Oh
names,
yeah,
and you
she's
know that.
Karen from Mean Girls. You made a Mean Girls reference earlier
Oh,
today.
I
Karen,
did. I
the one
guess
that
I should know
says,
her name,
"My
huh?
boobs are saying it's 30% chance it's already raining."
Oh, the one
Her.
with the black hair.
No, the
Hold on, let
blonde.
me. Oh, the stupid one. Well,
Yes,
the
the
one that
stupid
like
one.
acts stupid.
Well,
Okay, Mean
yeah, she was
Girls.
stupid. But she's
Let's
Lily
see.
Kane,
Lily Kane.
and she's.
Okay.
So you need to watch this. You got to do this. Come on.
Maybe. Maybe I'll
I've
think
the
about
thing
it.
about me is I've never suggested a bad show, and this is a fact.
Well, this is true. I think that you are you implying that I suggest bad shows?
No.
Okay, then I'll move on. I was about to fight you
Well, I haven't
because
watched.
you don't watch the things I recommend, so you can't say they're bad.
Anyways, let's stop roasting each other and let's get to roasting other people because we have some things to discuss.
Woo! What do you want to start with, Brandon?
Let's get this out of the way. The Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef. I don't feel like we have too much to say.
We don't have too much to say because so there was a person on TikTok that said who basically broke down all of the like the beef, all of it, all of this parts.
And all the like
And I was
meanings
like,
in the songs.
And I saved it and I was like, one day I'll care, but right now I don't. I
They not
I
like
w-
us. They not like us. They not like
so
us.
like 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, when I went to Dreamville, it had just started, right?
Oh
And it
yeah.
was Drake, Kendrick, and well, Rick Ross was upset. I don't know. But when I was noticing, it was Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. And Kendrick basically got upset because J. Cole said that the three of them were the big three.
Oh yeah.
So Kendrick dropped a diss track saying it's not the big three, it's the big me.
Mhm.
Then on our way to Dreamville, J. Cole drops an album, or he dropped an album and then dropped a single, which was an additional diss track. I didn't really listen to it. I didn't care. But at Dreamville, J. Cole came on stage and was like, I did something and it's not feeling right with me. Like, we were beefing. Kendrick said something. I said something back. And honestly, I don't feel good about what I said. Like, it just doesn't fit with my spirit and where I am in my life right now. So, Kendrick, I'm sorry. If you have something to say back to me, I'll take it on the chin and let's move on. And I was like, this is this
Respectable.
is very respectable. Like some people are like, oh, he didn't want the smoke. I don't care what
Well,
he
he could
wanted.
probably foresee what Kendrick was capable of because
I mean, I in my book, Kendrick is I want to for me, Kendrick is the greatest rapper that is out right now. I'm not going to compare him to people who aren't rapping anymore or aren't alive because I didn't really listen to them.
yeah.
But like as a lyricist, I love him. And I appreciate his music because he is always saying something relevant, right? Not in every single song. Of course, you have the songs where you're just talking about whatever. But like he does talk about political issues. He brings the black struggle to his music, and I appreciate that, right? Like, I can relate to some of these songs. But the beef kind of feels a little off-brand because you're like kind of advocating for social justice, but then people someone says we're the big three and you're like, no. And then you just keep
I
going at
hate the way
Drake.
that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way that you
Like
dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I'm a catch fly, I'm a be direct.
he's big mad. He's upset. And
I
so
love
I'm
it
like, but
though.
I get it. If somebody says something to you, say it back, but I'm just kind of waiting. I'm not that invested. My partner Obi is invested every day. Max, did you hear? No, Obi, I didn't
Whose
hear.
team is he on?
He really likes, actually, I don't know because I don't know. I told him
Drake's diss
that.
tracks haven't been good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I mean, there's mixed reviews, right? The Shade Room will post updates, and Twitter I mean, they always show both sides. Like, some people are like, this is amazing, and other people are like, you're putting me to sleep, Drake. And then there's this old clip of Obama going viral right now because somebody asked him
Oh
a long
God.
time ago, who do you like who would win in a rap battle, Drake or Kendrick? And he said Kendrick, which I agree with. Again, like Drake as an artist is cool, but I just feel like let's just stop all the nonsense. Kendrick Lamar won a Pulitzer, Brandon. He
Well,
won a Pulitzer. Like
but
I
Drake
don't
needs a
care.
one dance, got a Hennessy in his hand.
Right. Like his album, and I can't remember, I think it was Damn.
He used
He
to
won a
call me
Pulitzer
on my cell
Prize.
phone.
Right. Like, come on, let's be so for real. Like,
Yeah.
you sing and you rap. Like
You're
it's
like,
like,
you're radio friendly.
yeah. You are like you're not gonna hear Kendrick on the radio. Like he's not just making music for your mom and kids on their way to work or
Hmm.
for you as you get ready to go to the club. I mean, I think he has some songs, sure, but like his music is deep. It's not just something that can be easily consumed, and I appreciate
Hmm.
him for that. He has a Pulitzer Prize. This like let's go beyond the Grammys and all of these regular things that you regular people are doing. Kendrick is on another level.
Pulitzer.
So
Mm.
he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. And it's so funny. I say this because I fell in love with Kendrick Lamar when I tried to go see SZA.
Oh yeah.
He he used to be with Top Dog Entertainment. They came on tour to Tampa, and I listened to I was like at his show and I was like, this is amazing. And and I knew about the prize because he calls himself Kung Fu Kenny. He was calling himself Pulitzer Kenny. And he was like
Oh,
celebrating that he had won one. And so like, I think that's a huge achievement for a
that
rapper.
is.
You don't see a lot of rappers get it. Like it's under the art category, but I say all that to say they're two different artists. I like one more than the other, but I don't think you could put them on the same scale. Honestly, they're not the same. Kendrick doesn't sing. I don't know.
They
They're
don't
different. They're
they
different to
don't
me.
compete, or you can't compare where you don't compete. Is that what it is?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Kendricks are definitely being received better. And it was funny because I think one of Drake's disses was just like, oh, you're mad because like I win Grammys or people want to listen to my song. And then Kendrick dropped, I think his last one that like had like a really sick beat. It was like being played in the club. It was like actually good. And then there's one thing, and then we can move on. It's just with Drake's, he's trying to say, in particular, I'll say, because Kendrick mentioned maybe it was in Meet the Grahams that Drake has a daughter, like a secret daughter that no one knows
Yeah.
about. And Drake is trying to say, now this is after the internet was saying it as a theory. So I'm just like, I feel like he saw a tweet and was like, yeah, that's it. Um, like, oh, I had someone in my camp feeding you fake information about like
Boy,
me.
bye.
I'm like, that's
Get
the
the fuck
dumbest
out.
shit. What are you talking about? Please
Literally.
be for real. What do you
Please get
mean?
out.
Yes, I'm
Please get
giving
out.
you fake information just in case you want to have a rap beef, but
Mm.
I'll know that what you're rapping isn't true. And then in my response, I'm going to say, ha ha, actually, that was
Mm.
fake. I don't have a fake daughter. I have two fake daughters. Like, what do you mean? Like,
I
shut
have
up.
10 kids actually.
I have
Bump
10.
all of you. No, it's funny because we didn't find out about Adonis until something similar happened. And there was a whole
Yeah.
beef. There was a diss track. And that's why when we find out about your son, and then you're like, I'm not hiding my son from the world. I'm hiding the world from my kid. Like, no, 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 no. You don't get to do
Liar.
that.
That
You
boy's a
don't get to do that.
liar.
You
That
shouldn't
boy's a
have a dish.
liar.
Put it in the, I don't know. And I think I honestly kind of think this stuff is a little childish. But
Oh, it
whatever. I
is.
mean, you're both are millionaires. Do whatever you want in your free time.
Pop off, I guess. It's been
I bet it's fun.
entertaining.
I bet
Yeah.
it's a cool artistic exercise.
They're making
I also
money. The
I also
internet's
need to
talking.
right? I also need to correct myself. So Kendrick won the Pulitzer 2018 for his album Damn in the music category. What I was thinking of was that typically the music, like a lot of the people who you see in the music category, it's a variety. So it's quartets, opera singers,
Hmm.
soloists, like it's every genre of music.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. But yes, it was the music category, not art. But yeah,
Okay, fact check.
I was like, it doesn't sound right what I just said.
Oh, I love that. Enough
I
about,
also,
well,
I just want to acknowledge how Brandon knew all the lyrics. Go off, Brandon.
I just knew a
He is a
few.
lyricist. He is a lyric memorizer. Everywhere we go, Brandon is like a human radio. He knows every song by every person ever made.
I do know a lot of the songs in F45 that they play, but some of them are
Uh,
random.
music is kind of
My
whack.
Drake diss track is dropping at midnight, so stay tuned.
Yes, yes, Brandon,
It's
yes.
just
I
gonna be
love it.
plot points from Degrassi. Someone did, I saw on Twitter, they did like a picture and it was like, I think it was like the split, like half Kendrick Lamar, half
Uh-huh.
the kid who shot Drake's character in Degrassi. Do you know that scene?
Oh no! Oh, the that kid, the one with the glasses and the
The
long hair.
glasses that like shot him. They did like half and
That's
half, and I was
so.
like, no, don't
The
do
internet
this.
is having a field day with this one. Hey,
They
it's cool.
are. They're
It's
going
been
through
going
it.
on for a while right now. We'll see how long this lasts.
Drake dropped the
I
last
don't
one. It
have
was
time.
embarrassing, and Kendrick hasn't said anything, so maybe it's over.
Maybe it's over.
Um, but on a more positive note, the Met Gala was this week,
Oh yes.
and
What was the theme, Brandon? What was it
that's a good
called?
question. It was
Let me pull it
something
up
like
again.
Sleeping Beauty, fashion reawakening.
Thought it was something about flowers.
Well, that was a lot of people's interpretation because of like reawakening, like blooming, like earth.
No, Brandon. The dress code was the Garden of Time.
And that was it. There was no more to it.
That's what Vogue said.
Oh.
Is
Wait,
Rihanna pregnant again?
probably. I swear,
Oh,
wasn't there also something about Sleeping Beauty, like
let's
fashion
see.
reawakening?
Okay,
I feel
let me read the whole thing. 2024 Met Gala held on the first Monday in May has officially ended. The 2024 Institute exhibition at the Met, titled Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion, will feature
oh,
approximately 250 items. Below is everything you need to know. And then it says,
not me being right again.
the first thing that it said
Well,
was,
here's the thing, because Met Gala, they have like eight
oh,
different
sorry.
things.
The art exhibit, the Costume Institute's new exhibition, Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion, and the official dress code was the Garden of Time.
Okay. See, that's the thing with the Met Gala. They're confusing. They're like, oh, here's like eight different like thing. It's one thing, but it's eight different ways we're saying it, and like take your interpretation.
And
But
at this point, people just show up. Only a couple are really doing their due diligence.
this is true. But did any looks stand out to you, Maggie?
Absolutely. Tyla 8. Tyla
She
was the
did.
Garden of Time.
I did like that
Tyla,
look.
what the sand, the
Mm-hmm.
body, the hourglass body. She said, I am the hourglass, embodying hourglass. She ate. She
She
ate. I
said,
saw
flip
them
me over and count down.
them carrying her up the steps was very comical. I was like,
No,
"Oh,
yeah.
oh, she can't move. Okay. Oh,
That's
her
the thing
legs
with
are
Met
like stuck
Gala.
to
You
him."
can't move in your looks. If you're able to
No.
walk in your look, you didn't do it right.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian looked like she was about to faint. I was like, "Where are her organs?"
She
Did you see
has
her outfit?
Yeah, it was the worst. She always does like the tiniest corset, making her waist
Yeah.
barely there. And then she had a little Taylor Swift cardigan and was just going around like, oh, this is a thing. I was at a garden and then I needed my boyfriend's cardigan. And I'm like, who's your boyfriend? Jiminy Cricket? That's not gonna fit any man. Like, what are you talking about right now? This is like the smallest cardigan. It barely fits you. She,
It was a
I
little
can't.
it was a little nauseating. Just like, I don't know, it just looked like her rib. Like, did you get ribs removed? I've heard of people doing that so they can fit in their clothes better. That
I don't
didn't
know,
look
but I'm
natural.
over her wanting
Maybe she
to
had like three pairs of Skims on to
maybe,
really
well,
just make
maybe,
it
I'm
use your
sure there'll be a
products,
Vogue
sis.
video or something explaining, but I'm just over
Yeah.
her trying to be like this quote unquote fashion girly, but barely serving fashion. She's like
I
always,
can't
uh,
I can't comment, but I'll take your word for it. Brandon knows what's up. I'm not paying attention enough.
true that.
But
Um,
maybe defend your statement.
well, I just think she always wants to be known for like fashion and like looks and all that, but I feel like just a lot of the time it's like not great or it's just like fine. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's
It's
just
just
like,
okay. You
yeah,
know, I feel like fashion icons don't have to say that they're fashion icons. Like Zendaya. Zendaya
yes,
gets dressed, she eats, and she goes
eats,
home, minding her business.
yes.
Like
She did two looks.
she always does a great job. I like the second one better, but they both were gorgeous. They both were
Both were a
great.
moment. I didn't like the first one. I just didn't like the makeup. And like I kind of like the blue like from behind. It looked nice, but like I just thought overall I was like, like I get it, but I'm like, I'm not that much of a fan. The second look I liked a lot with like
Yeah,
the bouquet,
that was amazing.
headpiece, and then the makeup was nice. I don't know. I
Yeah,
like that one.
they did a
Another
good job.
standout for me, and I gotta shout her out, Emma Chamberlain. She came and showed these A-listers this is how you do a theme. She ate.
Mm,
She did like brown, and it was kind of like a tree almost, or
yeah,
just
she
like
looked like a tree.
she took like a different interpretation, kind of, and it was just looked so good. It was so well fitted. I watched her Vogue video where they like designed it and like all the processes to making it. I just thought it was really good. And she's been going to the Met Gala for a few years now. Never really missed with a look. She always does interviews for Vogue as well. And
Hmm.
I find Emma to be an inspiration because she started on YouTube. And I'm like, you know
Look
what?
at
She did
that.
it. And
Yeah.
I'm here
No,
for
she
it.
did a great job.
Now she just goes to
Um,
like fashion weeks and just slays in like great outfits. And I'm like, what a dream.
yeah. I didn't know who she was, but as soon as I saw her picture, I was like, she's the tree girl.
Tree
Amazing.
girl.
She looked
She's
she looked really
grandmother
good.
Willow.
You're stupid. I feel like I feel like those three looks embodied the theme really well.
They did.
Um, I'm like really struggling to remember people's names. So the out of the guys, the one I thought what did I tell you that guy's name was? Wisdom
Yes.
K.
His was
Wisdom K did
nice.
great. He did a really good job.
I
And the
liked
Euphoria guy
his.
did too.
Who was the Coleman
Emerson?
Domingo?
Not Emerson. Coleman
Emerson.
Domingo. I'm gonna
I
change
liked
every.
his too.
Don't let me have your name. I'm gonna change it. Yes, he looked great.
I really liked this guy Alton Mason. I don't know who he is, but I liked his look. It was like a tweed look and he had like cool shoes. I was here for it.
Hmm.
I also like Bad Bunnies. I think he
I
always kind of
didn't
shows
like
out.
his.
He tried, and a lot of men didn't try. So I was like, you know what? Also, shout out
His.
to Jonathan Bailey. He looked nice. It was like a white tux with a big flower, and then it revealed to another flower on the inside.
I did see Alton Mason. He looked great.
I liked his.
He ate. His
He
shoes
did.
were everything.
They were. Lana Del Rey was also Mother Earth. She was just like moss in a net.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That
And I
was
was like, all
cool.
right.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough of this Met Gala chat. We gotta chat. We gotta talk. The reason for the season, the
The
big
reason.
news, the end of an era and what felt like almost the end of a series by the end of it, but I don't think it
Hmm.
is. But they really made it feel that way. Um,
They made it feel that way.
the Vanderpump Rules season 11 finale aired last
Hmm.
night, and it was a journey to say the least. Maggie, what are
It
your
was.
thoughts on the finale?
I have a lot of thoughts. So what I've been doing is I've been watching the episode and I'll text myself what I would say out loud if Brandon was next to me. And by the end of it, I'm kind of irritated
Mm,
for Ariana.
same.
I'm kind of mad at production.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely mad at Tom. I want everyone to I just want to call attention to what he said at the very end, Brandon. Did you peep it?
Oh
He
yeah. The internet peeped
um
it too.
Schwartz is like, that was a plot twist, and here goes Sandoval. Weren't you just crying? Here goes Sandoval. I love it. It's good for me. You are the fakest person alive. That girl doesn't need to talk to you. Sheena and Lala can kick rocks with no socks. Lala, I officially don't like you. She's
They're so Lala and Sheena, they literally played into production's hands. They
literally.
played into Sandoval's. Lala, you're over here with your Joe Dirt hair screaming about Ariana thinking she's Beyonce and defending Sandoval and going off about authenticity. And then in the
Tell us
last 2 seconds, Tom negates everything
everything.
and proves Ariana and Katie right. And that,
100% right.
mm,
And they
and
left
that's what
that in there for
happens.
a reason. I was watching this and I was like, are they really gonna let Lala have the last word with her? We're on a show and we show our lives. And I hid, but I'm not
The
anymore. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. We hid, whatever, Lala. And then Katie, and then they
and
only
I
gave
hid,
Katie
but I'm not.
I'm not hiding
I
anymore.
once
Girl.
was lost, but
Well,
now.
we see that you're backtracking, you're on podcasts saying stuff. And then they let Katie speak, and I was like, but production is really producing this like Ariana is some kind of villain, and she's literally not doing anything. If she came on and was crying every episode, if she came on and she was like, no, I refuse to be in the same room as him. He can't breathe my air. Like she has been in the room with him. She has been like participating in these group functions when she doesn't want to. She is here for you guys. She's had one-on-ones with even Schwartz. You cannot
Hmm.
say that she's not participating with production.
And the
Tom
highlights
Tom
of
is
the
like,
season were her actually engaging with Sandoval. Like, remember at the water tasting and then at the beach.
mm-hmm,
It's like those were like two great episodes because of
right.
Ariana
Because
playing
of
ball.
Ariana. Y'all wouldn't even have a season if you didn't have the storyline. What is there to talk about? Great, Sheena,
Mm,
have a baby. That's wonderful. Average, ordinary women do that every afternoon. Like, there's no story. She is your story. Why are you guys hating on her? And honestly, she didn't ask for any of this. That man
no.
is unapologetic. He doesn't give two shits about anybody but himself.
Ariana, wait a second. Ariana. And then the
No,
second Sheena's like, she thinks you're fake. She's the fakest. She talks about all of you.
she hasn't spoken to you in 6 months, but she talks shit about everybody, and she doesn't like any of them. But you literally haven't heard. You guys haven't had a conversation in over 6 months. So what are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about.
He was on Watch What Happens Live and he even said that he exaggerated that comment and that it wasn't exactly like he was like, oh, maybe in the past, like before she's like said maybe something about someone, but it wasn't as dramatic as he made it seem. I was like, oh, so you lied.
So you lied.
You're a
Okay,
liar.
at least he
Shocking.
can. At least he can admit it sometimes.
And then it's also rich that Lala's the one preaching about authenticity when Lala has been lying pretty consistently throughout her entire. Then on Vanderpump Rules, it's like, what are
And
you talking about?
and what are you really sharing now? Like, I just want to have a baby and I want a kid that's mine. Like, that's lovely. Let's keep it a buck, Lala. What you're really upset about, you're saying she's God and she's Beyonce because she has these opportunities, not because she doesn't want to record on your show and she's not being authentic. It's because
Mm-mm.
she's on Broadway and now she's hosting Love Island. Like, that's what you're mad about. Let's be honest and tell the full story.
Be
Because if it was
real.
just like you're being so fake right now, like be so for real.
No, and that is the thing. And the thing is, what kills me is them like trying to paint the guys, it's brave to face like what you need to face and have these tough conversations and like it's authentic. And it's like actually what Ariana did was the most authentic thing you can do because the only reason she would have this conversation is a fake conversation for the show out of fear of losing her job because you feel if you
Hmm.
walk away then like you're letting everyone down and you're not doing your
No,
job and all this. And
she's
what
being
Lala's
authentic.
really upset about is the fact that Ariana can do that and is brave enough to do that, regardless of if
Mm-hmm.
it might jeopardize her job. And Lala
Mm.
can't do the same because
Mm.
Lala doesn't have these opportunities. And
Mm-hmm.
Lala's production pet. Like so like she has to film the scenes. She
Ariana's like, I don't need you guys. I'm leaving. The producer was like, don't leave like this. And Ariana's like, I'm going to Applebee's. Get out of my way. I
she's
don't
like,
want to
I'm
be
getting the 5-for-1 appetizer.
me and my man are going to Applebee's with our friends. We're gonna have a good ass night. See you guys later. Like, speak your truth 100%. She is being the most authentic. She is being herself. She's not sugarcoating anything. She said, she said what she
I
said.
said what I said. And
So
then
those
it's
are my. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
I was just gonna say those are my Spitfire thoughts. I don't know if you want to go through other stuff or we. I mean, like this is really the crux of the episode.
Honestly, that was the gist because the other stuff, it was just like there was the Dan interrogation in the beginning, which was kind of awkward. And then
Yeah.
like I did like Katie putting Brock in his place. That tickled me.
Oh yes.
Because he was just like, you guys are negating the fact that they're friends. And she's like, don't fucking defend her to me. Defend her to people who are actually doing something, aka Sandoval. And I'm like, there you
Yeah.
go. Because that's the thing. Because it's not just that she's talking to Sandoval, it's every 2 fucking seconds. Sheena's like, I actually think that he's grown a lot and I could see it in his eyes that he like got it and he like
Literally,
understands. It's like, are you dumb, Sheena?
almost every time Sheena has a one-on-one with Ariana, she brings up Sandoval. Like she wants to be in the middle, like you said. She likes to be in the middle. She wants to be in the middle. Like, why? And so Brandon, as our Vanderpump Rules historian, this is my second or first season really watching.
Oh, yes.
Historically, has Tom really been that good of a friend to Sheena?
Well, what's funny?
Outside of like giving money occasionally or something when you're in a bind, or
What's
is that it?
that's kind of it. I would say he's probably had good moments, but one of the big fights that happened between Sheena and Ariana and Tom is season 4. Sheena texted Ariana's mom behind her back saying that Sandoval was a narcissist. Sandoval doesn't like care about Ariana. It's his way or the highway. She's changed since being with him. Like all this shit that ended
Wow.
up being true. So, like,
Hmm.
I don't know if it was as true in the moment because it was kind of the beginning of the relationship, but maybe
That's
it was in some ways, and then it just got worse.
yeah.
Um, and Sheena's whole thing was like, does the truth hurt, Sandoval? Like, you were being a dick, like da 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 da. Like she kind of like stood up for it, and Ariana was like, what the
Hmm.
fuck? Why are you texting my mom? Like, what the
That's
hell?
so weird.
Yeah, and she just was not apologetic. They made up afterwards. The thing is, Sheena's always been more friends with Ariana, or at least it seemed
Yeah.
that way, at least.
They came, I mean, Ariana came on the show as Sheena's friend.
Yeah,
But
Ariana came when Sheena had no one, and Sandoval was on the show. So it's like, what are you
yeah.
talking about? Like,
Yeah.
but she
Oh,
was
that's
just like
so
that he
interesting.
gives her things, like the sound guy for her awful performance where she was lip syncing, and it didn't
Yeah.
matter how the sound sounded. It
I
was
was
a
like,
track.
why do you guys have musicians playing over?
James on the
Background
after
music.
show was like, "Oh, a sound system. That means he plugged in a speaker." And I was like, "Yes." The after show was good this week. It was like
I need to watch it.
you need
I feel like it
Lala
would have
went
been a
off.
minute.
Lala's terrible. Like she's
Oh
bad.
gosh. Oh
She was
gosh.
like, I don't get because Ariana, what the fuck? She's been coasting for all these years and she's someone that has
Coasting?
coasting for she said coasting. I'm like, girl, come on. She's
Oh
been look,
wow.
I'm not saying Ariana hasn't felt the brunt of a lot of stuff because she's normal, but I wouldn't say she's been
Hmm.
coasting per se. She's just been likable and like normal and like there's just you need a likable normal person on the show.
I
But
think what oh go ahead, go
I know
ahead.
it's just she was like, it was just crazy how someone that everyone had been so indifferent towards and nobody has talked about ever, all of a sudden their word everyone's listening to. I was
Um,
just like, please sound more bitter.
you are so bitter. You're a bitter Betty.
Bitter
I'm
Betty.
sorry. Lala, you literally just sound like a hater.
No, it's
If
bad.
this would be different if Lala was really the star of the show and opportunities, like let's say she was on Dancing with the Stars last season, now Ariana is. And let's say
Yeah.
she was on Broadway and now like she's acting like Ariana took something from her. You weren't even a big deal either, boo boo. You
You
weren't.
you can't have something stolen that was never yours.
Yours, exactly. Like
You're on Amazon Live. She's
I
live on Broadway. Like, come on.
I think it goes back to her being mad that she went through a hard time and America did not rally behind her. And now Ariana had something happen to her, and all of America, it again, she didn't ask for it. All of America came to her side. That's what you're
Because the
upset
thing
about.
is, she wasn't indifferent all these years. People just liked her. So then when something
Yeah.
bad happened to her, they cared.
And honestly, I also feel like we also got behind Ariana because it was justified. She wasn't wishy-washy. She wasn't like, "Oh, I still love him." She was like, "No, you are a bad person. Stay away from me. I don't like you." Like she stood on business, and I think people
Hmm.
respected that. Like as a woman, cuz we see women getting played on TV regularly. Like we
Sheena and
see the
Lala this season.
so bad. It's so bad. Like we see like I mean even uh what's that guy's name with the mustache? He used to be on the show. The
Peter?
his wife has an accent. She cheated on him and wanted to play the audio
Oh,
of his
Jax. He does
Jax.
have a mustache now. I forget.
Okay, right? So like his wife, what's her name? Brittany?
Brittany.
I
Yeah. You
know
did know her
someone's
name.
name.
Look at that. I'm so
I'm
proud.
doing better. Brittany, like, okay, the whole situation, she was mad at Jax, whatever. She got back with him. Okay, girl, fine. Like, that's your choice. But I think that it was respectable to see Ariana, like, not do that. She didn't want to play anymore. Like, this guy was obviously not treating her well. I mean, I don't, and like, she stood on business. She was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be around you. Leave me alone. I don't want to have anything to do with you. And I also think the whole, like, craziness of the whole situation was what really blew it up, but it was also Ariana's stance. She was just like, I'm done. And she didn't make a spectacle of it, wasn't on every podcast, was minding
No.
her own business,
Did the least
honestly.
amount of podcasts. But who did the most? Lala. Lala thought she was the Beyonce of podcasts.
Right?
Um, but my thing with Lala too, I thought the rant, because I think this is what they're gonna show at the
Yes,
reunion
I think
live.
so too.
And then that's why you see Ariana crying and everyone like freaking out. And my thing, I
Yeah.
guess I thought Lala's rant was gonna be worse, mainly because she's basically been saying this on podcasts and like heavily implying it throughout the season and like the after show. So I'm kind of like, yeah,
Not you telling us something we already know. That's really funny. She's
right.
like, okay, I didn't want to say this. It's kind of breaking the fourth wall. Girl, you've been saying
It's
this
like
for
you're actually
weeks.
actually isn't breaking the fourth wall. Ariana talking to the producer about filming and then telling the producers in her interview she's not going to be a cog in the Tom Sandoval redemption arc.
That's
That's
breaking the
actually
fourth.
breaking the fourth wall. But okay. But
Lala,
it's just like it's too much.
Girl, imagine if you were a good friend and you stood by her and you didn't want to play into the redemption arc either. Imagine what would have happened for you. You could have had some opportunities. You're on the wrong side of history, girl. Like,
Maybe
it's not
Ariana would have been like, "Hey, sis, want to like come for an episode of Love Island? Want to do this?"
right.
You know what's
Right.
bold of Lala and Sheena? They
What?
do this to her, yet they were the ones that went to her Broadway debut. They made sure to get the paparazzi photo. They made
Of
sure to
course they
vlog
did.
and do all this.
Mm.
Meanwhile, she had said all this shit and Sheena was like, I back you up 100%. I back you up. I'm like, you guys suck.
Your Sheena voice is really funny.
She's
Yeah,
I
they're
love
both
Katie
bitter.
because Katie doesn't give a fuck. Katie
Katie,
will
yeah.
stand on business. She doesn't care about the filming. She will tell Joe to her face she's weird and yell at her. And I'm
It's
like,
so
why was
funny.
Joe even there? I'm like, really?
I was like, why did y'all tell that girl to come and hang out with y'all?
George, like, come on, Joseph. Joseph, come on.
And then he's
Katie
like,
doesn't bite. Meanwhile, Katie has one vein. She's like, I'll fucking kill you.
get this girl out of my face.
I don't
I
want
want
peace.
nothing. I want problems. Like you literally, Brennan, you play the show out so well. Like you were describing Schwartz probably last week or maybe the week before. And you were saying that like you don't think he's a narcissist because he just like is kind of just stupid about everything. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Oh, it's going badly. Oh, I didn't know. And like this is literally an example of it. Like, why would you let this girl tell this girl to come apologize to Katie? Because afterwards he's like, she just wanted to say sorry, and he's like, I don't want to. Like, do you think Katie
Yeah.
really wants to talk to Joe? But he really played it like, well, he was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and it's like, you just play
It's all
stupid.
a facade. It's like, bitch, you're not that dumb. And also, he loves to say this thing like, I don't like ultimatums. Cause she was like, if you want to be my friend, stop bringing her around me. And she's like, it's not a fucking ultimatum, Tom. Stop bringing her around me. Period. Just like,
Period.
are you dumb? And also, your hair looks terrible. Your hair looks so bad. Why
Literally.
doesn't he brush it? He
I
doesn't
love how
brush
Joe
it.
was like, stop wearing colors that are similar to your face and hair.
I know, right? That's a good piece of advice. She's like, I know I
Thanks,
dyed it
Joe.
bad, but also stop wearing those
Ugh.
clothes.
Well,
Um,
but I mean, so the whole thing was stupid, right? So Joe is like coming to the party. Why? I don't know. Wants to come to the party, wanted to come on the trip, doesn't really hang out with the group until the final event. And then she goes up to Katie and is like, I just wanted to say, Katie's like, yes. What do you want?
what do you need?
What are you here for? Lala sitting between them. And Joe is like, I just wanted to say sorry if Katie stops her there.
If,
Sorry if
if,
it should just be sorry. And I was like, I know that's right. I feel like we have to look, guys, it's 2024. We have to know that sorry if it's not a real apology.
yeah.
If you know
It's
you hurt
like it's
someone's
not if because
feelings,
you're apologizing.
right.
It happened.
It
So
happened.
like it's not if it happened. It did happen. That's why you're
Yes,
saying
Brandon.
sorry. You fucking idiot, Joe.
She's so stupid.
And
Like,
why is she at the reunion? She's just crying. She's like, Katie, you were so mean to me. And she's like, yeah, I didn't
yeah.
like you. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
I think she
No,
does
like,
apologize to Joe because she sees that Schwartz sucks. So she's like, my bad, whatever.
who
Or
does?
Katie. Or I think she's like, because I think Joe reveals more about Schwartz, like their secret relationship. And I think watching it, everyone saw how Schwartz was kind of leading her on. So Katie's like, that sucks. I'm sorry about that. But like,
Oh,
you know,
I mean, I don't think she has anything to apologize for. I mean, she's right. Like, you texted me trying to be nice to me, but then you're sleeping with my ex. I don't care if you were living together or what. Like, we just got divorced. You're telling me you support me and you love me, but then you go do this. You don't support me and you don't love me if that's the case. And if you did support and love me, then you would have had a conversation with me. Hey, Schwartz and I have a connection. This is what I'm thinking. And then
yeah,
Katie tried to say during the fight, whatever, oh, well, we weren't friends. So then it's like, so then why text me all of that stuff if we weren't
yeah. Joe
friends?
was like, I wasn't thinking about you. And it was like, well, clearly. And it's like,
Yeah.
someone pointed out on Twitter, they were like, Joe doesn't care about Katie being the wife, just like Joe doesn't care about his new girlfriend because she keeps going on Instagram Live talking about how her and Schwartz are going to end up together and how they
Ew,
like had
still.
sex when they like were together and like all this shit. Like she's just being weird. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
Joe.
And then
Anyway,
Joe's like, "Do you have anything to apologize for me? To
and
me
Katie's
for?
just like, no.
Girl, what? Why should I apologize to you?"
Mm.
And it just went downhill. Joe cries. Lala is like, "Oh, don't do that."
No.
And
Lala's like,
then
no.
Joe runs out and no one chases her.
No, Joe
Shorts
disappears.
doesn't even get up to go see
Of
if Joe's
course he
okay.
doesn't, because that, no, Schwartz, that would be a decent thing to do, and Schwartz is incapable of that. Although I will
Production's
say,
like, we don't have the energy for her. She can leave.
right, Schwartz did have some sense when it came to Ariana, because he was like, maybe don't introduce yourself, Tom, to his her new boyfriend, because that was so weird when he like introduced himself
Oh,
to Dan,
that was really weird.
and then he was just like, maybe don't talk to her. Like, I don't like. It seemed like he like understood like maybe don't do that. But Sandoval was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, Schwartz was immediately like, "What did you say?"
Right? Like, what is there to say?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I really don't see why Tom needed to go and introduce himself. It was awkward. I think Dan handled it well. Like, "Hey, I'm Tom." He tried to shake his hand. He put his hand out. I don't, and then like kind of I don't know if it was that obvious, but it looked like he wanted to shake hands. Dan was
Yeah,
not like having it, and he's like, "I just wanted to let you know I'm Tom. It's nice to meet you. Best of luck." Boy, bye. We don't
it's
need your
just
luck.
like
We don't need your
we don't need
greetings.
anything from you. Get
You're being funky.
away. I can't with
Yeah.
him. And then
Yeah.
like honestly, if I was Ariana too, I don't know if I'd be friends with Sheena after this.
Oh yeah, she really should only be friends with Katie. All of them are
Yeah.
fake.
And like
Maybe
Allie and James.
not James. James still defends him.
Does
James is
he?
like, I mean, like he goes back and forth, and I wish James would just pick a side. Like James,
Yeah.
what he said at Tom's rehearsal thing was 100%.
Yeah.
And then he like said sorry later, and I'm like, why are you guys apologizing him? It makes me think that like maybe production is telling them like, guys, you need to give Tom a chance.
No, they
Forgive
are.
like there's no other reason why everyone would be doing this. Like I don't know. I mean, these shows are kind of scripted. I don't know if they're trying to say like this is the narrative we want to follow. This is what we're trying to do. But it definitely seems like there's an agenda. Everyone is against Ariana, who's literally minding her business.
They wanted, it was supposed to be, I think they were anticipating Rachel to come back and like that didn't happen. So then they were just like, okay, this that needs to be because the internet's hating on Tom. They, I think, thought everyone would be over Ariana by this point because there was a point where people were starting to turn on Ariana, but that kind of came on and off like throughout. Just the people being like, oh, she got cheated on. Who cares? Like, da 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 da. She's getting all these opportunities.
No.
But as time passes, it's kind of like, well, she's earning these opportunities because you don't just get like she's coming back to Broadway. Like
Right.
she's coming back in August because she
Right.
did well and sold a bunch. Like she outsold like highest box office numbers for Chicago. She's landing the role of the host of Love Island. Like, and this is all like a
Mm-hmm.
year later. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's just doing, she's taking advantage of the opportunities and doing it well. And I
Yeah.
think they thought everyone would be over it. And they're really, again, just underestimating the audience and thinking it's the same as like back in 2014. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we're not just gonna like forgive Tom. We see he's not genuine.
He's not
This doesn't
genuine.
make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Like, let's even okay, all things aside, let's focus on what he did this episode because it's literally crazy. He's having a conversation with Schwartz about his conversation with Sheena the episode prior, where Sheena was like, "Hey guy, like pause for a second, with all how angry you are at her, and imagine like maybe she really did love you. She didn't just freeze her eggs for shits and gigs. Like
Yeah.
she actually cared about
She did it for you.
she did it for you. She didn't buy a house for herself. She wanted to be with you.
Yeah.
Imagine, like maybe you should say sorry." And then he's like, "Yeah,
Imagine
I
that
want to."
concept. It's like,
Stupid.
oh.
Literally. Now he's telling Schwartz, "Yeah, I want to apologize for her about the mental health stuff because I think that I did cross a line." And in
It's
my
like,
head, and he's like, "I want," he said, I'm trying to learn from this and not make the same mistakes. And I'm like, 6 months later, probably 7 at this point, you don't want to learn. You don't have anything to say. Like Ariana said, you're in the same vicinity all the time. Now you want to say sorry 7 months later, and then you're gonna throw a fit when she doesn't want to hear it. Literally, look at yourself. Every time you guys have gone toe to toe this season, you stood 10 toes down on your decisions. You're like,
Hmm.
we weren't happy. Blah, blah, blah. We didn't have sex. Blah blah blah. Like every time. So now that she doesn't want to
Hmm.
hear your apology, you want to throw a fit.
Yeah.
So
It's
for
like I said
real,
last week, it's not genuine because
it's
if
not.
you genuinely felt it when she walked away, you should have just like let it be. And like even if
Literally,
you were a little annoyed, you should have just understood. But then you went and tried to like you had like a freak out, male rage, and then
male
you're
rage
just like, she
again.
talks shit about all of you. I show up. Da 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 da. And
Yeah,
it's like for me, I'm like, just showing up isn't like a genuine, like, it is genuine, but I don't think he does it for genuine reasons. He does it so in
yeah.
these moments, he can say, I show up and I brought the sound guy. Like he
Like,
does it to hold over your
yeah.
head.
No, it's like if you really did stand up for your friends, then you would like be trying to rectify things that you destroyed, right? You would be genuine in your apologies to Ariana. Sheena's over here blaming you for her relationship trust issues. Like you're not doing anything to resolve it. You low-key ruined your business with Shorts. What have you done to resolve it? Like he just wants to say things now and spend some money now to make himself look better, but he's not doing anything to rectify anything. If I was Tom and I was truly apologetic, I would not say anything against Ariana. I was wrong for what I did. What I did was messed up. I shouldn't have done it, and it was not good. And I'm gonna take some time to think about my actions. Oh, Tom, what about your relationship at the time? My relationship at the time doesn't matter. It was an excuse for what I did. Because
Yeah.
like they mentioned it earlier, the whole stupid thing with Brock. Brock's like, he was her friend, blah blah blah. And then Schwartz goes, yeah, he did a thing. And Ariana's like, a thing?
She's
A
like, you
thing?
can get the fuck away from me.
She's like, do not say that in front of me again. And she's right. He didn't do one thing. 9 months of lying and cheating, that
That's
takes a lot of
multiple.
effort.
And he did shit like secretly flying her places. Like there was just a bunch of stuff.
Staying
And
at
then
Schwartz's house.
yeah, and it's just I do question. I'm like, I wonder what production's vision board was for this finale because it was so like out of like it was just like such like a mishmash and all over the place because you have Lala giving her soliloquy about the realism of the show and
And then they
all
play this
this
montage.
montage of all of them looking so young. Clearly, I was talking to Gia and she was like, Lisa Vanderpump pulled a hocus pocus and stole their youth from them. And I'm like, she did. And I was like, it went to her veneers. But they're just like showing all this and all these random scenes. And Lala's like, Ariana has only been honest about the relationship when he got caught cheating. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty big time to be honest. Because what people are also forgetting is the only reason that was captured was because Ariana told production.
That
So
part.
you're welcome,
What
Lala,
they
for the
film they
house.
film they filmed the next day.
They filmed the next
Yeah.
day.
And
You're
then you
welcome,
got to
y'all.
sell your hoodies.
She's
You
not
got to sell your
authentic, but that's the
hoodies.
most authentic thing. Mr. Tom Sandoval authentic. He wasn't gonna tell production. He wasn't gonna be
What?
real about that.
She's literally a walking contradiction. If Ariana is so irrelevant, let's remove the podcast episodes and the endorsements on the sponsorships on the videos you made about all of this. The
Hmm.
all of the things you profited off, the hoodies you sold, everything. Take it
Yeah.
back then. Oh, she's irrelevant. Okay. So let's give everyone a
You made
refund.
a lot of irrelevant money because of her.
Yeah. Oh my
But
gosh, that girl's full of
yeah.
herself.
And then, but after all that, it then shows like Katie being like, you got to set a boundary and stand up for what you believe in. And then Ariana being like, if you, yeah, we live our lives on camera, but if you mean it, you'll do it even if there isn't a camera. And he's never
Hmm.
once tried to talk to me off camera. And then it cuts to the hot mic moment where he's like, this is good for me. Ah, I
Yep.
love this. And it
Yep.
basically confirming what she's saying.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
y'all are trying to paint her as the villain, but also
Hmm.
showing that she's right. So
Right.
I'm
But
confused.
only for a little bit. I don't know. I feel like they have to show, I think with reality TV, they show both sides, but they're spending more time on the
They're
redemption
trying to
side.
get the audience to be mainly on the redemption, but we're not stupid. Like,
Yeah.
we can see I can't with them.
I mean, even this little tantrum that Tom throws seems like an act because he's like, starts yelling, guys, Ariana hates all of you. This is ridiculous. How is she saying I'm being fake? She knows who I am.
She,
Does
the thing
she?
about that,
Does she, Mr.
she
Double
knows me
Life?
better than to think that. It's
Uh,
like, shut up. I hate him.
literally, Tom, you lived a double life for almost a year. She's supposed to know you? She's supposed to know you.
I
Okay,
can't.
cool. I
It's
would feel
like,
so deceived. I wouldn't feel like I knew that person because I didn't know you had the capacity to be that like deceitful. That's insane. No, she doesn't know you.
right. And I love just in the reunion, she's like, I want you to go away. And he's just like,
Literally.
I'm
He's
like,
so full of it.
I hate
Eh,
you.
It's so bad. And so then he starts yelling, whatever. And then he's talking to Sheena. It was weird. So Sheena is talking. Wait, hold on. Let's have a comic relief moment for a little bit. Why did Ariana and Sheena kiss? That made me so uncomfortable. I was like, what the fuck
They
just
had their little
happened?
moment.
They were like hugging and Sheena was rubbing her back and I was like, "Aw." And then they like kiss each other and I was like, "Wait,
They had a friendship peck. It was, Ariana thought it was real. And then Sandoval shows up. And it's just
it
like, hey,
threw me
Sheena.
it threw me off a little bit. I'm like, "Are y'all drunk? Like what
They probably
happened?"
were. That too.
I was like, oh, plot twist. And then I wanted to hear what they said, so I rewind it. I rewinded it, and then I was like, I don't want to see this again. I don't know why.
uh,
My thing, I don't know if it was a peg, but it was. I was like, this is different. And then she's like, Brock said we can't kiss, and I'm like, so y'all must do this then.
I think they do because remember when it was revealed about Sheena making out with Schwartz in Vegas and Ariana's like, she made out with me. I think they have that friendship. Good for
They
them.
have that friendship. Well, they used to.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so they kiss, they make up. She's like, we can talk about that conversation later, but Tom comes up, she walks away, and then Sheena starts telling Tom, like, yeah, she doesn't want to talk to you. She thinks you're being fake. And Tom is like, I'm literally not. And then Sheena is like, don't make me look stupid, Tom. And she's like kind of mad at him now. And I'm like, Sheena, every time you're not with Tom, you're like, I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. Then in front of him, you're like, don't make me look stupid. Like, girl,
It's like
what is wrong
he's
with
going to
you?
make you're making yourself look stupid in that outfit, but he's gonna make himself look like you look stupid as well. So like
Yeah.
firing on all cylinders of stupidity. Like,
Literally. Like pick it's I feel like it's almost like she is angry with him, but just is trying to go along with this narrative that the production is feeding them.
yeah, she just wants to be able to like film and like do the show, and she's worried about hate she's gonna get online for forgiving him. And honestly,
Mm.
she doesn't care. She just cares about how he treats her. She's not one that's gonna be like, that's all she
Yeah.
cares about. And he
She's
doesn't
like,
even treat her
Ariana,
well.
literally. Ariana, Tom was nice today, and I think he's a changed man. Like, girl, be
I
so
love
for
that
real.
in that conversation before though, Ariana just looks at her like, bitch. She's like, can I ask you a favor?
The fact that
Never
Ariana,
talk to me about this again.
I loved that. I loved that. Because in my head, I was like, why hasn't she just told her this? But I'm glad that she said that. Like, I don't want to hear about him. And she's like, but I thought you wanted an apology. No, didn't say I wanted an apology. I was just saying that he hasn't apologized. I was just
I was
making a
simply
point.
making a statement, an observation.
But I'm not looking for an apology for that man. I don't need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they walk away, and then that's when Tom is like, yeah, she's fake. She hates all of you. And then he starts yelling at Sheena, and then Sheena starts yelling at him. And he's like, oh wait, so oh you're mad? Oh, and then like he kind of I don't know, Brandon. We might have to watch this and like stitch it and like
No,
show
it
our
was
live
like weird. It
reaction. It
was
was
like a
weird.
jarring change. Like he all of a sudden calmed down and like because he
He's
was
like, oh, don't be
acting.
mad anymore. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying
He's
to.
like, I
This
know
is
you're gonna take a lot of hate. I know you are. And then he was fine.
yeah.
I'm like, this is what improv class is this?
Literally, he's like, I'm mad. And she's like, I am too. And he's like, oh, you are? Oh, well, well, yeah, you know. And then he hugs and makes his voice sound choked up, but then he can't cry, so he kind of stopped. It was weird. It was weird. I was like, you're not acting.
This is
You're not.
bad.
Yeah,
This is just
like
not good. This is a
as soon.
Tubi movie acting.
And then he's like, okay, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to carry this burden. Like, go away. You just want to act sorry.
You
You're
and
not
Lala from
sorry.
above to go on her ranch she thought was gonna hit but didn't. She
And
she lives in the same house as him. It's like, yeah, and they don't talk. Like, what
they
do you
don't talk to each other. They sleep in separate rooms. Remember, you were roasting her for eating in her room.
I know, right? What do you want from her now? What do
What do
you
you
want?
want? What do you want, actually? Like, come on.
Uh,
Anyway, she makes it sound like them living together is him having access to her in her life, and that's literally not the case.
it's not. And her whole thing is she moved out of her place with Randall, but she didn't own it. And also she like had a kid. So like
I
she
don't know.
left. I don't
I
know.
don't like people who are like, I went through this and I acted this way, so you should act this way as well. Like, bitch, please don't tell me how to live.
Everyone's right. Like everyone's different. And it's like just because you did it that way, like even if you think she should, why would you then get mad at her? Because she doesn't. That doesn't make sense.
If anyone could sympathize with Ariana, it is Katie and it is Lala. And the fact that Katie is literally a model. If everybody was against her, maybe, oh, you guys don't know how to respond. Okay, we can give you a break. Katie is being the model of what a friend is. And you
Hmm.
could all follow suit, but you don't. Like Lala knows she doesn't like Tom. She uninvited him for her birthday party. She called him to make sure he knew he wasn't invited to her birthday party. And
Right.
now she's doing all this. It's just
She's
crazy.
stupid. She's and even she's even on the after show being like, Ariana's not a good friend. She won't check on you. And I'm like, well, maybe she just didn't check on. Did you check on her?
Yeah, Brock tried to say that during this episode too. Like, oh, to Sheena, like, oh, Ariana's not there for you. She's not there for you, mate. She doesn't call. She's not. And I'm like, literally, what do you guys want? I don't know. Maybe have a conversation with her about it.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you need more, I'm sure she will. And even Sheena was like, she's been there for me. Like we've had a long friendship. And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Sheena, you get a point for that one. But what I will say is on the after show, Brock and James were paired. James on the after show is amazing. He's
I
not
gotta
care.
watch
He
it.
listens to Brock and he's just like dozing off because Brock goes on and on. At one point, he's with Sheena and Lala and he's just rolling his eyes at both of them. And Brock just going on about how, um, oh, Ariana doesn't get back and she's bad at communication. And then he just goes, well, she always responds to my texts and my Instagram stories. So I think it's just a matter of if she wants to, she will. And I'm like, ooh.
Or Brock is lying.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Listen,
know.
I I almost want to say that he should just be quiet because it's not happening to him. Stop trying to speak for Sheena. Sheena can speak plenty fine by herself. Let
She
her share
can.
it. Like you're trying to share for her. Like literally share your own experience, Brock. When you had a conversation with Ariana, she humored you. She had a conversation with you and she was respectful. But then you want to be, no, she's a bad friend. No, no,
No.
no.
And it's like, what do you want? A friend that will show up but will also yell at you and be deceitful? Or do you want a friend that anytime you see them, it's pleasant and nice?
Literally, the misogyny and all of it. Brock, this man yelled at your wife in her face like 2 weeks, okay, maybe a month ago. Not long ago, Tom showed his ass when he was put to the fire, and that's who he really is.
Well,
We
Brock yells
can't.
too, so that's why he's able to sympathize, I
what
guess.
what's what define male
What's
rage?
Mel
What
Rage?
is rage? What is
What is
that?
rage?
Rage. Anger? Anger is like
I
you're so
can't.
full of it.
James
You
also had a
know.
funny moment in the show because they were talking about Lala's God comment, and Lala was doubling down. And
Oh,
then James was like, "That's such a Lala comment." And also, if I was Ariana, I would think I was God too. If I'm on Broadway, I'm gonna be walking down the streets, Times Square, with my cane, just like do 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 do. And I was just like, "Yes."
oh my gosh, was he drunk?
I don't think so. James is just funny. I'm like, James, you got this. This
Okay,
is
so maybe
good.
he is really 10 toes down for her
I
and we
think
just
he's
don't see
not
it on the
friends with
episode.
Sandoval. I think he's just like, we can say hi. Because even in the reunion trailer, he seems to go at it with Sandoval. I think
He
he just
should.
doesn't like Sandoval. And he's like, I
I
get why
think so.
Ariana doesn't like him either. But he's like, I'll
Yeah.
be cordial, but I'm not gonna like be besties, which is
Yeah.
normal. I think that's fine.
I think that's fine too. So I wish they would have pressed her about the God comment, or maybe they're gonna bring it up in the reunion because I really want to know what she means by God. Like, what is Ariana doing? She's not saying that everyone should bend to her will. She's just saying, I'm not doing this. You
Hmm.
all can do this. I mean, okay, they showed the flashback of her basically saying, like, if you're friends with, I don't want to share friends. I don't want
Hmm.
to do this. And I kind of get how that could have been confusing but
But
really, outside of that, what else is she doing?
yeah, and I'm sure in anger she would say that and in annoyance. And if Sheena's not even being direct and being like, I want to be his friend, she's kind of just like being wishy-washy and being like, I
She
think he's
is.
changing. I don't know. And Ariana just says to her, like, look, we'll always be family. It is what it is. Like, I'm never gonna excommunicate you. Like, I think Sheena kind of is the exception to that. And she was basically
Yeah.
saying, you're the exception. Like, I will always be your friend. Like, might not be as
Yeah.
close, but like we're family. Like, I'll always care about you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also what's funny too is because when that God comment was in the first trailer, like ever before the season started, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone was freaking out, and everyone on the internet was just like, oh, we knew Lala was jealous. And then Ariana kept being like, it's not what people think, but I wonder how people will feel after they watch it. Like kind of implying
Mm.
that they'll be on her side. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that didn't age
Yeah.
well because what?
Lala said that.
Yeah, Lala thought people would be on her side and like understand. And it's like, no, we always understood why you said it. That wasn't
This
the issue. We
this
just don't agree.
this is the production meeting. Everybody's like, all right, guys, the world has been abusing Tom on the internet. They're bad, but they will get over it. So this season, we need to defend him, right? So
Mm.
everybody, make sure that you defend him. And at the end, you'll get some brand deals. It'll be great. Just do what we say. It'll be awesome.
Now Lala's on Amazon Live crying and talking about how she's not going to talk about the show on her podcast until the last reunion part.
The only sympathy that I feel for her is the fact that she's pregnant, and this is probably the worst thing to go through while you're pregnant.
True.
Um, but you did pick up a shovel and dig your own grave. You had a couple of opportunities to rescind some statements. Even now, you could say
I know. You
something.
could say anything, but you're doubling
Anything.
down. So like at this point, it's kind of like, look, and I love that Ariana and Katie were on Watch What Happens Live last week, and they were like, Lala unfollowed you on Instagram. What do you guys think about that? And they're like, I don't know. She said she had to do it so she could get a certain number on Instagram. So that's the excuse she said. And they just
Wow.
laughed about it. And I'm like, you have Lala going so hard, and they literally do not care.
They could care less. Okay, unfollow me
That's fine. I didn't want
and
to see your like stupid post anyway. Like I think they still
literally
follow her actually. They're like, we're not
no.
gonna unfollow you.
Lala was like, the way Tom defended himself, I really respect, and I'd like to do that for myself.
I was like, all
So I'm not
right.
gonna apologize. Like, somebody in this episode, someone called her scared. She's like, I'm not scared. I'm not
No, I'm gonna
scared.
break the fourth wall. It's like, okay.
And
Um,
production's like, everybody knows we're here, bitch. Just talk about it.
right? Like this is hardly, but
Just say
I can't.
literally.
I did see Page Six reported today that Lala's in talks to join the Valley for season two, but she would still be on Vanderpump Rules when it comes back.
Hmm.
I'm here to say I don't know if she's needed on the Valley. Valley's having a good season with a good cast. They don't really need anyone else. Maybe season
Yeah.
three, but I don't know.
I don't care what she does. I'm wondering if Ariana's gonna come back. If I was Ariana, I would leave.
I would too. It's hard because I don't think Katie would leave and they have the sandwich shop. I would maybe, if I was
She could
Ariana,
be a friend of.
be a friend of. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, just pop in. You don't need to do it
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, like, she's booking these A-list gigs. She doesn't like the show's
She
not
low-key might not
benefiting
even have
her.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
She's making sure to be booked and busy when it's on pause.
Hmm.
And, Katie posted the sign is up for the sandwich shop. So it's getting closer and closer, which is
Not the
nice.
sign is up.
Well, because
Where?
people were like, oh, no, there's no sign. It doesn't exist. And she's like, well, it's up now, May 22nd. And I'm like, pop off.
I
So
want
that
to
is
go.
something I want to go to. We got a plan.
We have to figure something
But
out.
so I think though she doesn't need to. It's hard
Mm-mm.
though. We got to circle back to whenever it's getting off pause and see, revisit, circle back and
Yeah,
revisit.
I wonder because I wonder if the pause has to do with her.
I wonder because at this point too, it's like she's booked. And
She's
it's kind of
busy,
like
yeah.
the dynamic doesn't make sense for the show. Like they need to, I think, okay, keep everyone, but maybe add people or have more Valley crossovers. So it makes more sense and there's more people in the mix. Because I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's not going to make sense for the Toms, the sad Toms, to go on vacation with Ariana and Katie and Lala to anywhere. It just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. It makes no sense. And that's why this season people are like, it's inauthentic. Like, y'all are preaching authenticity, but really it's just you want to film and have a show, which valid, but like not with this cast. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, if anybody, if everyone, if Ariana leaves, there's really nothing, and Raquel doesn't return. I don't think she's going to. Like, there's really
No.
nothing to talk about.
Yeah, what are they going to talk about?
Like, maybe
It's
get,
just,
I don't know, maybe get Tom to go to therapy. And then if Ariana does come back, is it gonna be this all over again? Or will
or,
they
yeah. Oh, no, you go. Sorry, I
defend
cut
her
you off.
for a change? Maybe they will like say, okay, maybe we'll be on your side this season.
Maybe, or focus more on all the opportunities they're getting. Like they didn't
Yeah.
show anything with her opportunities other than Sheena making Dancing with the Stars about herself. And like kind of her book, but they didn't even show much of that. I'm like, show her opportunities, show everyone's opportunities. They're
I
all
would
getting
love
something.
give Ariana a spin-off series and we'll just watch her. I love it. Katie can hang out. The two of them can do their own thing. I would love to
Something
just
about
see her in her
a spin-off. Oh,
I would love to see that. Because when Nene did her Broadway thing, they followed her. When Nene did her little Glee stint, they followed her.
they did. They like showed all her opportunities. So I'm just like, they need
Yeah,
to just lean into that. Like they focus too much on them like trying to resolve something that isn't going to be resolved right away.
right.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, look, if somebody did something terrible to me and wasn't apologetic, what do I have? Like in a normal world, she just would be able to not talk to him and move on with her life. It's just making it
Yeah.
weird because the show wants her to film with him and move on, and she is doing that, by the way.
Hmm.
Um,
And he like hasn't changed. He was just on Watch What Happens Live with Jax and he had dirty hair, awful sweater. And like it's been reported that afterwards his new girlfriend unfollowed him on Instagram. And then also Billy Lee unfollowed him on Instagram. So I'm like, what happened?
not Billy Lee.
Billy Lee, she unfollowed. So I'm like, what happened?
Oh
What
my gosh,
happened?
Tom, you literally had like five supporters.
You had five and they're dwindling. What are you doing?
Billy Lee came to your little birthday or your little hot girl summer pool party. Billy Lee was even at this event. Like, hey, are you okay? So
It's
I would
just a
love
mess.
for Billy Lee to get on a podcast and start speaking her truth.
She
That's
has a
what we need.
podcast, so maybe she'll reveal something.
Oh
TikTok,
gosh,
a lot of them get on my feed, like different podcasts about stuff, and I know the pages to look at. So
we gotta
I'll
see
keep
it.
y'all updated because I'm not listening to a full Billy Lee episode. Sorry, but I'll hear the clips.
Okay. Speaking of Sheena making things about herself, this was another full circle moment of Brandon explaining something to me and then me seeing it play out in real life. Earlier, this probably was a while ago. I think this was our first episode or first breakdown of Vanderpump.
Okay.
We talked about the cast, and you told me how essentially Sheena likes to be in the middle. She likes the middle story. She's always like, "Oh, my friends aren't agreeing, and I'm just so upset about it." And we literally saw it play out today because in this episode, she's like, "I'm losing myself," and I'm like, she's been saying a lot of stuff, but the crux of it was that she's losing herself because she feels so caught in between both of them. And I'm like, you have now made all of this about you
No,
somehow.
it's literally, and then even when she turns to him and she's like, "Do you care about me because of the show or because of life?" I'm like, "Why is this about you?" And then even Lala going to bat. Lala said she didn't want to be a dog in anyone else's fight, but she's been going so hard for Sheena against Ariana, mainly because she was
Mm,
trying to hide the fact that she was resentful about Ariana, but then she revealed it
mm-hmm.
at the end. But when she was talking to Katie and she was like, so she's living her life for Ariana because she knows Ariana is going to be upset. And Katie's like, it is what it is. Like, what do you want from, like, Ariana said what she said. Like, that's on Sheena if she's going to stress about that and,
Yeah,
like, really want to be his friend. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
literally, literally.
Like, what do
Like,
you mean?
again, Sheena, please just go to therapy and discuss this with a professional. Because what?
APPLES. How you like that?
Another ironic moment. Tom in the back singing along. And I was like, you are so contradictory. He's like, way to profit off of my misery.
Ah.
And now
And
now you're singing along to the song.
he's like, I didn't like it at first, but now it's grown on me. It's like, you're lying. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Good.
And all the girls were in the front, literally supporting her. Ariana was dancing. She put on her little skirt thing. Like they were like,
Hmm.
please go, Sheena.
Oh,
Yay.
and another funny moment. They released the first 7 minutes of the reunion. Not much happened. It was they kind of talked about the house a little bit, and they talked about something else that I'm forgetting about. It was like they were in an introduction. Nothing really happens at the beginning of a reunion. But they were talking about Lala's pregnancy, and then Ariana just was clapping and looked so happy for Lala. And I'm like, if you only
Aww.
knew
What
what
was
you were
coming?
about to know. And
it's
I don't know. But that was,
it's like oh, I was
you
just gonna
go.
say it's like it's like last year she was betrayed by her man and this year she's being betrayed by her friends. Like
I know. It's like,
and
what
she's
the
gonna see
fuck?
it all out and it's just really unfortunate that I'm glad that at least Katie is by her side. Cause you kind of need that. Like at least me, when I'm having these like significant like or I'm making these decisions based off of how I feel and like trying to respect my boundaries and stuff, and everybody else is like, no, you don't need to do that. It kind of makes me question myself for a minute. Like, is this right? Like, am I
Hmm.
right in doing this? And Katie is that validation. Like, yes, girl, protect yourself, protect your boundaries. You make boundaries,
Yeah.
stand by them. That's fine. Do what you need to. If the show is not going to allow you to do it, leave the show, like
Yeah.
do
The
what you
show's not
need
going
to.
to
And I
last forever anyways.
Right. So I appreciate Katie and probably James for actually like defending her because what did
Yeah.
she actually do? I bet
Well,
production is like also creating this narrative too because they're probably just pissed that she made their life a little difficult this year.
oh yeah, they're trying to make it seem like, oh, Lala and Sheena, you guys are gonna win the season because you're doing what we want. But
Yeah.
no. And then I just think Ariana's too real, and that makes people like Sandoval, Sheena, and Lala uncomfortable
Mm.
because they're not real and they're
Mm-hmm.
low-key all narcissists and really make everything about themselves. And they just like, Ariana's too authentic. Fuck her.
Fuck
Who does she
her.
think she
She
is?
sucks.
Having
She's actually
boundaries
the
and
fake one.
self-respect.
The unmitigated gall of her.
I
Yeah,
can't
it's
believe.
funny because I'm now remembering at the beginning of like midway through the season Tom calling Lala a narcissist and Lala having a meltdown over it and I'm like, yeah, this is the guy that you're defending, the one who will literally throw you under the bus the minute you say anything about him. Try it. Let's experiment. Do
You
it
really
and see
picked
what
the winning
happens.
team here.
You really
Um,
did. Such a noble human.
I can't, but that was pretty much, I think, it for the finale. Any other thoughts? I love how
Uh
at the beginning we were like, this was really just the main part, and then we went on for like another like 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let me just scroll through. I did think it was funny, that little segment of Brock dancing. Did you catch it? Brock
no, that
was going
was kind of funny.
in. I was like, okay, Sue, okay,
All
pattern,
right,
go.
bro.
I was like, I mean, I don't know if he was good, but he was
But he was
dancing.
doing it.
Yeah. I thought that it was annoying how Lala was like interrogating Dan basically, but he did well.
He took it like a
Um
champ.
yeah. And then did you notice like that lunch at the Chinese place? Brock was like moderating. Like at one point, Brock's like, Dan, Allie has a question. And I'm
He
like,
was.
why are
He's
you
being like the
moderating the
host or
lunch?
something.
Yeah.
I
I'm like, can he
can't.
not hear? Like Brock is literally like in the because Brock has no connection to any of this stuff.
I'm also like, Lala, you're really like shitty because you're talking shit about Dan and their relationship and all that. Meanwhile, you heard their answers for like what attracted them to each other and how like they were like authentic, like genuine, like kind of like deep things.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you're still like this. Like this is why I'm like, Lala, you're a robot. Like,
You
and that's why
literally are.
Raquel triggered her because Raquel was also a robot. And then
Mm,
also Raquel was a fan who got on the show, like Lala
mm,
was a fan who got on the show, which is what
mm.
kills me. You say Ariana's fake and was coasting. Bitch, you came on 2 seasons later, a fan of the show. And she's been on since pretty much the beginning. Like, what are you talking about? And she had one of the main storylines with Tom and Kristen.
She's just salty. She's like, this is my only job, guys. This is my only job. This is the only thing I
Literally.
do is this show. This is my life. And this girl is getting so much.
Too much.
Man, I just need to get cheated on. Like, Lala, you could have
Oh,
just done this so differently.
she
Ugh.
could have, but
She's like, if I wasn't like so against like having a relationship with a person right now, I would just get a boyfriend and have him cheat on me and see what the world says.
well, I think that's also what her resentment is. It's like Lala or Ariana's able to move on and she's not. And it's just
That
like
part.
maybe she doesn't think it's real, but I'm like, well, maybe it's just
Yeah.
different.
That reminds me of that 8 days later comment. Is that
Oh,
true?
yeah. They met like 10 days later at a wedding, but then I think they dated like started dating like a month later.
Hmm.
So it's kind of
I don't
quick,
know.
but
That's her
yeah,
business.
they
That's her
seem good.
business.
So it's like it is what it is. I
I
mean,
mean, at least she waited for her relationship to end.
that part. And it's like, honestly, after what Sandoval did and dealing with him, I would be like, let me move on real quick. Like,
For real.
uh,
Well, I really don't think that you should stop your life if you meet a genuine person. You know,
right.
she's obviously doing work on herself. She's setting her own boundaries. She's not crying every day. Like, she's doing better.
Yeah.
Um,
Seems like it's
we see her working
just
on herself.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But those were
yeah,
all of the
the
things that
key
I
moms. Yeah.
yeah.
Next week starts the reunion, which the
I'm
reunion
excited.
I am too. It looks like a pretty emotional. Some people were saying the trailer was kind of boring, but I kind of like that they didn't show too much.
Yeah, they always ruin it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I like how they kind of focus on one thing and then just showed little bits of other. I'm like, okay, so now anything we see will kind of be a surprise, maybe.
Right. Do we
So
think it's gonna be 3 parts?
it is going to be 3 parts. I hope
Okay.
they do what they did last season, where they released it the next day, extended and uncensored, like they did with this finale, which I didn't know they were
Okay.
going to do, but then they did. So I hope they do that.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
always love
nice.
those moments. And but I'm excited because after these 3 episodes, we're not gonna have Vanderpump for a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna switch though
We are
to
Love Island.
Love
I got a
Island.
text.
From who?
Um, no, that's the same. It's like I got a text.
Oh, really? I was
Maggie
like,
just
what do you
looked at
mean
me
you
like I
got a
was
text?
crazy.
Who
That's
texted you?
no one texted me. It's
I've
like
never
that's
watched
why
Love
in the
Island.
promo for Ariana, she was like, I got a text. Do you want to host Love Island? I
I
never
saw a
watched
little
it either,
trailer. I didn't
but
watch it.
oh, you
I
should. It's
think,
cute. It's like a good little like her. It's almost like did you watch Barbie?
yeah, it's
Remember
like
when they
her
kind of
montage
went
of
through like the
traveling.
worlds, like the traveling? It was
Yes.
kind of like that, and it was like cute.
Oh, I'm excited.
But yeah, I've never
Yeah, it
watched Love
looks
Island
cute.
either, and I'm like, it'd be fun to talk about. A lot of
Yeah,
content.
it's gonna be starting soon, so we're gonna switch over to that next. Not
Yes,
just because of Ariana, but also because of Ariana.
period. Um, but with that being said, I think that's it for today's episode.
That's
But
all.
that's all she wrote. But thank you all so much for coming to this real, authentic, genuine, shady show that
Thank you,
we
thank
give our
you.
lives to every
Mm-hmm.
day. And we're not
Every day.
liars like Ariana. No, I'm kidding.
We're
And
real. We're authentic.
we're real. And make sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Give us 5 stars. Let us know what you think about the pod. And you can
Mm-hmm.
follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Shade of It All podcast. We're still posting a lot of clips. Very fun.
Yes.
Having fun on TikTok. And then our YouTube channel, Shade of It All podcast. We post the episodes every week and some shorts every now and then. And then so you can get content that way. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.